SMT Nation, we back. Nation, I come to you with bad news. I would say it's awful. I'm not really sure how to slice it any other way. Disappointing downgrade, I guess we'll call it, for Verizon and the Samsung radio equipment on the cell sites here in my market. Now, the reason why this may not impact you is because you may be in an Ericsson market for Verizon, but I'm not. I'm in a Samsung market, and there are many others who are also in Samsung markets. So I want to be very clear. This may or may not impact you, but it's a good to know. We obviously want to know what's going on with the industry. Let me tell you guys all about it, as this upgrade has turned out to be a downgrade. All right, if you guys want to follow me on X or Twitter, I will have a link to my handle in the description, and you guys can check out the stuff that I post there and get in tune with the community on that level. But let's go ahead and get started here. So the basic rundown is Verizon got C-band live and on air. What would that be, like 20 months ago or something like that? 21 months ago. The initial launch of C-band included a 60 megahertz channel for Verizon. They do own 100 megahertz of the entire bandwidth in the A block, and they were letting AT&T use 40 of it. They were using 60 of it at launch. Once the rest of the C-band cleared from AT&T's B block, right, which AT&T has 80 megahertz of B block, they were, once they got that on their radios and were broadcasting it, then they gave the 40 megahertz back to Verizon. So Verizon went from 60 megahertz of A block to 100 megahertz of A block. On the 60 megahertz, we were seeing 400, 500, 600 megabits peak, and then, off peak. So like non-busy times. Peak, it was like 200, 250 megabits. Got a little bit of fixed wireless access adoption, people using their 5G smartphones and all of those things. So everything was cool. We upgraded to the 100 megahertz channel. The bandwidth, obviously that's a huge increase. We're talking about like a 65% increase. So speeds really kicked up. We were seeing peaks of like 700-800 down from 1 mile range, folks. I'm talking about from my living room, right inside my house. So the peak times basically doubled, 400 or 500 megabits. Sometimes it would slow down to like 300 megabits and stuff like that. Just depends on the time of the day and the usage. Plenty good. So the added bandwidth was great. All right, now we have officially seen a 140 megahertz deployment from Verizon. They got the radio upgrade from Samsung, right? Which I understand. I guess they're quarterly updates for firmware and stuff like that. And let me show you guys my first test from 140 megahertz on the Google Pixel 7 Pro, and it is absolutely a capacity travesty. We went from getting 400 or 500 peak, 700-800 off peak, to now getting 130 megabits down and 30 megabits up. And typically those uplinks I would get like 40-50 megabit. So what happened, guys? How do we add bandwidth and get slower? How do we add bandwidth and it get worse? What happened is this update from Samsung to the radios broke the Pixel modem. Basically what you're seeing is a 40 megahertz channel of N77. We are no longer connecting to the original 100 megahertz channel of N77. So we just lost 100 megahertz of bandwidth on this device. I tried airplane mode. I tried resetting the phone. I tried resetting connections. This is what I've got. 131 down, 30 up. All right. Truly, truly disappointing. This has essentially rendered my Google Pixel 7 Pro basically performing like LTE or worse on 140 megahertz of N77, people. And all I can get is 40 of those megahertz in bandwidth. This is really disappointing. So I'm no longer connecting to the 100 megahertz of the A block C-band. I'm now connecting to only the 40 megahertz of the B licenses. Looking in Signal Check Pro, I was able to identify it. So that's extremely disappointing. I want to show you guys what happened with the iPhone. A very different situation. So with the iPhone, and this is the 14 Pro Max, I am indeed confirmed connecting to 140 megahertz of N77. So it is aggregating, the 100 plus the 40 And here we're getting 538 down, and we're getting about 26 up. Now, the reason why this is really, really unfortunate, right, is because during peak times, I was getting more than, 400 or 500 megabits per second. I was getting like 600, from an ideal location within the house or something. And I was getting like 40, 50 up. I've lost uplink throughput. I've lost downlink throughput, and we've added bandwidth. It doesn't make any sense. And what this boils down to is that the way the Samsung radios are broadcasting is they are now running in lower power to each channel. So the 100 megahertz channel, which before was like full powered, it looks like now that is on a lower power because it's splitting between it and the 40 megahertz bandwidth channel. This is really, really disappointing, folks. Clearly, this is not a device issue. I don't think it has anything to do with the iPhone. But I do think there is a pixel problem, right, with that modem. So that's an issue. Obviously, the radio splitting the power between the two channels. That's an issue. And I don't know what's going to come of this. And I'm going to tell you guys why. We just got this upgrade. We just got this update to the radios on the Verizon cell tower level from the Samsung OEM vendor level. I'm not expecting anything to change in the next several months. Like at the very earliest, like what are we going to see? Some people are claiming that possibly with the launch of standalone 5G network core, this could change things. Speculation. I don't know for a fact. I have not talked to anyone at Verizon Engineering that has insinuated such. I have no clue. I haven't seen the protocols. I haven't seen the testing. I don't know if that is indeed the case, but I can tell you right now, the 140 megahertz bandwidth has rendered my connection less resilient and less capacitive. Now, the Pixel is just a shit show. All right, so I'll be moving away from the Pixel moving forward. That cellular modem situation, if I don't see an update in the November security patch, right, which we should be getting here in a week or two, if I don't see a change, I'll be moving away from the Pixel completely. I'll either have to go to a Galaxy when it comes up here in January, February, or I'll just stick to the iPhone with my main line. But I will tell you guys, this is really disappointing. So the Pixel's a piece of shit modem. That's a mess. It was perfectly fine before. I have no idea what just happened. And then with respect to the iPhone, the Galaxy, it's a lesser experience. Guys, that lower power level really impacted the signal quality and the signal strength. All right, the uplink has been reduced. The downlink throughput has been reduced. This is very disappointing. Very disappointing. And you know what? Shout out to my dude EM Tech who mentioned to me that and Carlos S Tech as well. They've been seeing sites where Verizon is putting up two Samsung radio antenna combos for N77 to broadcast full power on each separate antenna radio combo. They call these air antennas, right? It's got the antenna integrated with the radio. And I never would have thought it would have been this problematic. I mean, I'm hoping for a standalone network core solution. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that makes a difference. I have no clue. To me, this seems more like a Samsung related issue. And again, I don't know what the performance is like up close to a tower site. I'll do some testing here in the next couple of days. If you're probably near the site, it's probably like 1.5 gigs or something outrageous. The uplink's probably 100, but I'm a mile away and everything was fantastic before. And now my experience is degraded. I'm really disappointed. So this is what I'm going to conclude by saying. At the SMT HQ, AT&T is an underachiever. On 120 megahertz of N77, I get like 350 down and like 3 megabits up, right? Totally underachieving. That cell tower is less than a mile away from me. T-Mobile, right, on the same site as that AT&T site, I get like 400 down and 1 megabit up. Literally, it's the tallest site in the area. It's so tall, and it's trash. I can't even hold a video call on it. And the last thing I'll tell you now, here with Verizon, obviously Verizon's better. This is not ideal, but it is still better than AT&T and T-Mobile. But it's disappointing because they were the exemplary carrier at this point. When it came to mid-band 5G, when it came to throughput, when it came to optimization, right, and it came to spectral efficiency, Verizon was the exemplar. Not anymore. I'm not happy about this. It's not the end of the world. It's not the worst. Maybe there's solutions. but I have to call a spade a spade. They downgraded the network at the SMT HQ. And I don't care if it's really, really fast near the site. I've said that about AT&T. I've said that about Verizon. I've said that about T-Mobile. I don't care how fast it is near the site. We need it to be efficient from range, because if our tower grids are every 1 to 2 miles, the performance with distance matters. So I'm bummed out by this. I'm gonna go ahead and just put my phones into LTE when I'm home. There's no point to sit there and drain my battery, run these 5G modems, and then just have to charge my phone, 2-3 times a day just to have 5G on. I'm not going to do that. Now, the nice thing is I'll show you guys this. Here's a speed test of LTE on the Pixel, right at the same exact moment in time. Faster downlink and throughput compared to the 5G. And then here is a little bit later. 327 megabits down, 30 megabits up on LTE. And with the magic of cbrs. I'm going to go ahead and put my Pixel into LTE. I'll wait for the 5G modem update, maybe, that comes in November, and then we'll move from there. With respect to the iPhone, I guess I'll keep rocking it in 5G for now, but I might as well, just to save battery life, go ahead and switch into LTE. Guys, this is really disappointing. And again, maybe the updates come, maybe things get better, but I'm just letting you guys know. At range, it looks like the power inputs have changed the performance. Tell me about your experiences. Tell me what you guys are seeing if you're in a Samsung radio market. This is disappointing. This is probably not impacting people in Ericsson markets because they're just a better vendor, right? They're just better at what they do. And, Verizon's going to have to continue to deal with this type of bullshit with Samsung, right? And I had been singing Samsung's praises up until this point. The millimeter wave's been great. The midband was great up until now. And now it's a piece of shit. Really disappointed. Sound off in the comment section below, you all. The voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.